Hey, what's up YouTube? My name is John Brahma and welcome to Vicious Cycle Mountain Biking. That's my channel. I don't usually show my face. Normally you're watching a first-person view from my chest mount GoPro, but things are changing. We're going to be making this channel a little bit differently. It's not going to be suddenly come a tech review or anything like that, don't worry. But I'm trying to move forward and differentiate myself from some of the other channels just so I give you a reason to watch, right? You need a reason. Anyways, in this video, we are going to be talking about an old GoPro camera. That is the Hero4 Session. Now you may wonder why you would want to buy an old Hero camera when there are so many cooler, newer ones, especially the Hero 8 now with Hypersmooth 2.0 and all that. But the reason for that is just to have another camera angle and have a cheap camera. I bought this used, it's discontinued, you can't buy a brand new anymore. And I got it for 100 bucks Canadian. So it's a really inexpensive camera to buy now, especially if you get a pretty good deal and you're watching some used websites. But we're gonna find out whether it's worth it.
All right, this is a test of the GoPro Hero Session 4. Hopefully the quality is pretty good. I don't expect it to be good as the Hero 7, but I expect it to be reasonable. And we're gonna get that angle when I'm looking down. And in the future, when I'm actually talking to people, you'll see their face. The problem is sometimes when I'm talking to someone over here and I'm on my bike, the camera's facing over here. So it's not super useful. You can't see what I'm looking at. So I think this will be cool. And because of the gimbal, when I go low, it stays straight. So when I'm going downhill, you can't really see how steep it is or much of the detail. You kind of just see straight ahead. So hopefully this being here, as I go down with my head, you'll see down. That's the hope anyway, but I got a good deal on it, so if it doesn't work that well, I'll get over it.
So looking back at the footage, one of the things I'm a little bit surprised by is how shaky the Session is. I knew it's not on a gimbal. My Hero 7's on a nice gimbal mounted to the chest, so I knew it wasn't going to be as smooth. But I've seen a lot of videos where people are using the chin mount camera because they're using the full face helmet and they're talking about how their heads kind of act like a gimbal. So I was hoping that the footage would be a little more smooth than it is. It's a little shaky, but again, I'm really only cutting to it as sort of like a B-roll or a second angle. So I'm not going to be showing a lot of footage in it and not for a long time. So it's probably not very important, but mildly disappointed. So in this next video, we're going to go over a rock and then down a rock. And this is the key to be able to see whether we're going to get more of that rock with that head angle and rather than the GoPro on the gimbal, which is kind of smooth and looking straight forward rather than looking down. So this will tell me some things.
Ooh. Ooh.
All right, that was pretty subtle, not going to lie. Let's slow it down here. Let's slow it way down. I didn't do this in high frames per second, so it's not going to look great, but let's slow it down anyway. Okay, you can barely see the light rock. Definitely a little more rock. Pretty subtle. Well, that was pretty subtle, I'm not going to lie. A little disappointed in how subtle that is. So before I get too upset that I couldn't look down at that rock, that footage was a little bad, let's look at another rock that I climb up and down again. This one's pretty small, but let's just see. You can barely see the rock. Oh, way more rock. All right, that's a lot better. That time you definitely saw way more rock when I'm looking down. I don't think any slow-mo necessary. Another thing I was curious about, it doesn't really matter. I'm assuming the audio would be better from the chest-mounted GoPro. It's just closer to my mouth, and it's a newer GoPro rather than the one on the head. But we want to just see anyways. Let's just see how that session audio holds up.
So now I got the GoPro Hero 7 on, and that'll work to sync my video to the audio. Now I got the GoPro Hero 7 on, and that'll work to sync my video to the audio.
Not really surprised, to be honest. The GoPro Hero 7 Black kills the audio in the Session, but again, a lot of that might be the placement of the head versus the chest being a little bit closer. But yeah, that audio is not so good on the Session.
So I'm in here just trying to fight the darkness as it's getting dark earlier and earlier, and the trails look pretty different. This is my first time riding into the fall. Everything is kind of my first time since this is my first season, so it's interesting to see how much visually the trails change, especially when all the leaves are gone and everything opens up and you can see a lot more around you, which is nice when you're riding alone so you don't sneak up on any bears. But I think they're pretty rare in here because you make a lot of noise and a lot of riders come through here. Let's keep going. Try and get in a couple more trails before dark.
So one small downside of having it mounted on the helmet is that I can't really tell if it's recording. I'm not using the mirroring on my phone, even though you could, because my phone's usually in my backpack while I'm riding. So a lot of times if I can't remember, or even if I do remember, but it's just a little tiny button that you're like, I think I pressed it, you can turn the beeps on and off. So it depends on if you have the beeps on. But anyway, so once in a while I got to take my helmet off and check if it's even on.
Oh, hey, you're still recording. Just checking.
So one thing I knew that even if that second angle looking down wasn't going to be a big game changer, another thing that would be really cool is just the quick release and kind of playing around with camera angles. So in this next clip, all I did was simply unclick it and click it the opposite way on the helmet, and I got a new angle. I mean, that angle's not going to change the game, but it's nice to have something different, and that would be pretty cool if someone's following behind me. Might be just, I think making your videos better is just getting more angles. And one of the things that I try to do, at least when I'm riding with people, is not stop, because, when I'm riding with friends, they just want to bike. They don't want to stop and film and try and make things look cool with me. They don't care about my YouTube channel. So at least being able to do things quickly on the fly like that is going to be helpful in making my videos a little more interesting, I think. So again, talking about the quick release, it's hard to take off the chest harness. The chest harness is a bit of a pain in the butt, especially with my camelback on top of it, and unscrewing it and taking the gimbal off and all those things are a real pain in the butt. So this, I just pop it off, put it on the ground, get a new angle like this.
This, by the way, is why I've shied away from separate camera angles, because it's a lot of work. Oh yeah. But it does look nice. Damn, did that look good? I hope so.
So that's pretty cool. I like that. That looks pretty good. Obviously, I wouldn't show going one way and coming back in the same thing, but just for the sake of the test, that's what I'm doing. So this wasn't a reason for buying it. I wasn't worried about how it would look in dark, but it was getting dark. It's fall. It gets dark sooner. So I wanted to just see quickly, what's it look like on the Session versus the Hero Black. Keep in mind the Session is 2.7K. Hero 7 Black, that is 4K. So the resolution's a little lower. In fact, I'll show you what the difference is right now. This is what 4K looks like as far as taking up the amount of screen, because my artboard is in 4K, and this is what 2.7K looks like without enlarging it. So you can see it takes up quite a bit less of the screen, so that means I'm enlarging it and I'm losing that quality. So technically when I'm showing that angle, it's less quality than the 4K, but I'm keeping my project in 4K so that when I'm showing the 4K footage, it looks as good as possible. Also, a lot of people just downgrade to 1080 anyway, so most people are just looking at their little phones. But I like to try and record in 4K when I can most of the time, at least for action footage, because that's going to be the standard eventually. So kind of, keeping up with technology is important. So let's see how the Session looks in low light versus the Hero 7 Black in low light. Okay, the Session looks terrible. Horrible. Let's just get another clip just in case. That looks terrible, yeah. Even though I have the settings basically the exact same and Pro Tune and all that stuff on both cameras, I definitely find the Session is lighter. It's brightening the image for some reason more. The exposure is different. So I kind of got that as similar as I could in color grading, but in low light, it's definitely blowing out those blacks and you're getting a lot of grain and a lot of noise. It doesn't look good in low light at all, but I'm not riding in low light very often. So that's it. I hope you guys liked it. I think in the end result, $100 is totally worth it, even just to take that off and get a couple different camera angles or hold it when you're doing like some kind of vlogging type thing. I think it's totally worth it. $100 is killer. And, you know, even though it's not going to replace your Hero 7 or your Hero 8 now, I think it's going to be worth the money in investing in an old GoPro. It doesn't have to be the Session, but I like how small it is. It's convenient. All right, next week we're going to go back to biking normally. Less talking, more biking. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please subscribe. I dare you. And comment and like it and do all that stuff to help the channel grow. And I'll keep making videos for you. Thanks. See you next time.